हाय फ्रेंड्स, आंखें बंद, मुंह भी. हाँ? Online friends, please type yes if you can hear me and see me clearly. Please do so. Thanks. ठीक है. So in the last lecture we had discussed diversity in family forms with a particular focus on same-sex unions. So, brother, tell me, what do you understand by heteronormativity? Bitya? I was absent. Bitya, what is heteronormativity? Absolutely. So the assumption or the belief that heterosexuality is normal and the default state of human existence, ठीक है? Or that is the morally preferred sexual behavior. That is heteronormativity. ठीक है? Name some queer theorist, brother. हाँ. Judith Butler. Very good. एक और. Very good. But आप ही से मैं पूछा था एक और. हाँ. वो क्वियर थियोरिस्ट नहीं है, वो बेचारा माइथोलॉजिस्ट में है. लिख देता है चलते फिरते इन बातों पे भी. बट क्वियर थियोरिस्ट. Brother in blue, why you giving way? हाँ. बिटिया. Brother. बोले तो उसने अभी रूथ वनीता तो. या नहीं, किन्सी was like not this thing. गेल रूबिन पढ़ा नहीं था. एरोटिक पिरामिड पढ़ा था ना. हाँ, तो उनके तो नाम में ही रूबिन है. यस और नो? हाँ, ठीक है. और अच्छा, a couple of things regarding, some of the students came up to me कि regarding two things. एक तो number of scholars. How do you remember so many? It's a legitimate concern. So couple of things on that. First, the problem will only worsen as we proceed into the syllabus. ठीक है? So you will come across more and more scholars. ठीक है? Going ahead. It will not reduce, it will only increase. To be mentally prepared for that. Secondly, scholars are important. It is important to quote scholars in your answers. ठीक है? So it is far more marks fetching if you mention scholars in your answers than if you don't. ठीक है? Thirdly, how do you remember so many scholars' names? One, multiple revisions. ठीक है? So have a list of scholars topic wise, as I had advised in the beginning of the course also. prepare a list, scholars list topic wise, and run it through your this thing nazar multiple times. Okay, no shortcut there. Fourthly, any scholars whose names reappear at multiple places, feel very freely use them in those multiple places. For example, the big daddies, Karl Marx for instance, ठीक है, या Durkheim हो गया, Weber हो गया, these guys will make reappearance in several topics. But you cannot write all answers based only on these 5-6 names. So you will need topic specific names. Now, how many scholars should a typical answer have? Depends on what the question is asking for. For example, if the question is write a short note on historical materialism, कितने scholars लिखोगे? Most likely एक या दो ही लिखोगे. मार्क्स लिखोगे, साथ में एंगल्स चेप दोगे, एक आध कोई क्रिटिक्स में पता होगा तो वो लिखोगे. इसी तरह अगर सोशल फैक्ट्स पे आया, क्या लिखोगे? दुर्खाइम ही लिखोगे. बट अगर सवाल आया हाइपोथेटिकल sociological analysis of the family, in such a question, as a reasonable examiner, I will expect diversity of viewpoints. I will expect कि उसमें आप एक आध फंक्शनल थियोरिस्ट लिखो, मार्क्सिस्ट पर्सपेक्टिव लिखो, फेमिनिस्ट के नाम हो, दो तो हो ही. समझ रहे हो क्यों? क्योंकि फैमिली का पर्टिकुलरली फेमिनिस्ट हैव एनालाइज्ड इन ग्रेट डिटेल. ओके, so depending on the topic, number of scholars will be determined by that. Now for a topic like same-sex unions, it is not a standard topic mentioned in the syllabus. Why we have covered it at length? Because it is topical, because हवा में है ना, इस मुद्दे पे विषय पे बात हो रही है, it's a current topic, इसलिए हमने डिटेल में किया है. But statistically the chances of getting a question on this topic specifically are less than say standard जो लिखे हुए topics है कि भैया Weber's theory of religion, far more likely to get questions on that, or Durkheim's theory of religion than same sex marriage. Are you with me? हमारे यहाँ topic क्या है syllabus में? Diversity of marriage forms या contemporary trends in marriage. This is one of the contemporary trends जो आजकल है, but chances कम है. So what I mean to say, for such a topic, I will take a chance and remember fewer scholars. Rather than remembering all the names which I threw at you in the last lecture concerning the same-sex unions, I'll say remember two, any two big ones. Michael Foucault is the big daddy, ठीक है, and say कोई भी जो तुम्हें पसंद आए, वो क्या नाम था तुम्हारा, जूडिथ बटलर, चलेगा, ठीक है. So that is how you'll have to gauge the importance and accordingly remember. अब जैसे फैमिली पे लिख रहे हो तो एंगल्स का नाम जरूर लिखो. क्यों? उसके लिए आपको एक नया नाम याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है. एंगल्स का नाम यू ऑलरेडी नो. यू ओनली विल हैव टू रिमेंबर और रिकॉल दैट एंगल्स ने इस बारे में भी बात की है. बट अ नेम लाइक मर्डॉक, दैट इज टॉपिक स्पेसिफिक. वी विल बी यूजिंग ओनली इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ फैमिली किनशिप, नॉट एल्सवेयर. Are you with me? तो ऐसे है, किसी भी चीज की एक डेफिनेशन शुड मोर देन सफाइस. इन बुक्स एटसेट्रा यू विल फाइंड मल्टीपल डेफिनेशंस, बट वन डेफिनेशन विल मोर देन सफाइस फॉर द पर्पसेस ऑफ द एग्जाम. ठीक, चलिए, तो हमने बताया था छोटा सा, हाँ सरनेम्स यूज कर सकते हैं, फर्स्ट नेम्स नहीं यूज कर सकते. डोंट से काल, ये कह रहा था, ठीक है, से मार्क्स. हाँ, in general what is preferable, but the first time you mention a scholar in the answer, you mention the full name. Say Emile Durkheim, and then subsequently you say Durkheim. But don't say ED. Many people do that in their notes and in their answers also, ED. हाँ, नहीं, जीपी मर्डॉक को, हाँ जीपी मर्डॉक लिखते हैं, जीपी नहीं लिखेंगे. हाँ, मर्डॉक लिख देंगे, है ना. या ई डॉट दुर्खाइम, ठीक है, इससे अच्छा दुर्खाइम ही लिख लो. ठीक है, जीपी मर्डॉक लिख सकते हो, हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल, नहीं जॉर्ज पीटर मर्डॉक की जरूरत नहीं है, ठीक है. चलिए, मूविंग ऑन टू डिस्कसिंग समथिंग इन लाइफ. What we discuss now is position of women in society. Position of women in society. Sorry? Not exactly. It's related to women. Okay, so we discuss position of women in society in the broader unit on family, kinship, etc. But we will go far beyond the family also, in other realms of social life. ठीक है? Mix हो जाते हैं. Sorry? होगा, होना चाहिए. हाँ, मतलब कि ये इन द सिलेबस इट इज मेंशन्ड इन द यूनिट ऑन किनशिप. ओके ओके, सो टेल मी फ्रेंड्स, यू नो ओरिजिनली दी स्लाइड्स वर, गेस विच कलर? पिंक. दे वर पिंक, बट देन आई फाउंड दैट टू क्लीशेड, सो आई चेंज्ड इट. ठीक है, सो बताइए, हाउ इज द पोजिशन ऑफ वुमेन इन सोसाइटी? समाज में महिलाओं का, स्त्रियों का क्या स्थान है, क्या दशा है? नो विमेन? आई विल प्रिफर इनपुट्स फ्रॉम विमेन ऑन दिस इशू ऑफ विमेन्स पोजिशन इन सोसाइटी. यस, महिलाएं, एनी इनपुट्स? व्हाट्स योर टेक? व्हाट इज द पोजिशन ऑफ विमेन इन सोसाइटी? हाउ आर विमेन प्लेस्ड vis-a-vis men? Say in our society to begin with. Bitya? उनको नहीं, आपकी बात करो. Let's talk from personal experience. What is our felt, lived experience as members of society? आप मुस्लिम फैमिली से हो, अपनी बात करो. हमारे परिवार में क्या हो रहा है? Really, let us talk from personal experience. What is your lived experience? Are women in India treated equally as men? Or do they in any way face any sort of discrimination, disprivilege, bandish, rock-toke of any sort? Bitya? Yes? तो तुम क्या ही करोगी कमा के? She is suggesting better of families are more hesitant to grant greater freedom to women. Huh? Bitya? Yes. Brother was allowed to stay out till late in the evenings, but there were serious restrictions on my mobility. How many of the girls here can identify with that? कि भाई को घूमने की फिरने की छूट थी, पर हम पे बंदिशें थी. हाँ, ओके. और बताइए, ऑल फ्रॉम लिव्ड एक्सपीरियंसेस. बिटिया? अच्छा, ठीक है बिटिया, उसी के लिए हाथ उठाया. और बताइए गाइस, व्हाट अदर एक्सपीरियंसेस डू वी हैव? घरों में हम क्या देख रहे हैं? यू हैव मदर एंड फादर, ब्रदर एंड योर सेल्फ, सिस्टर. What is, how do you compare? Bitya? Yeah. She's saying girls are given freedom until they don't question, challenge the dominance of men. Not just in families, in the corporate world also. Tell me from your own experiences, have you experienced any sort of discrimination in family? And you would, do you have a sibling, brother? And you think he is treated differently than you are? Or the same restrictions apply to him as well? तो फिर and she would not say that to your brother? उसको 1 घंटा एक्स्ट्रा मिलता है भाई को, ठीक है. हाँ, so there is some sort of a differential upbringing there. बिटिया, men are raised with a sense of entitlement. हमारा हक है. हाँ, guys, yes, when it comes to so the way, it's called manspreading. Yeah, how men sit with their legs wide open as if they own the whole world. Yes or no? While women are expected to sit simat ke. Yeah. Bitya? Guys, suno. Acha, how many of you feel, friends, boys and girls, that girls have, preferential treatment? Okay? That girls have it easier, better, more privileged? कि लड़कियां तो पापा की परी होती हैं. No? Sorry? Okay. और बताइए बिटिया. What is happening in the military? Let's hear it. She comes from a military background. किस टाइप का? Do you have a sibling, brother? You have 2 brothers and you are the sister. हाँ, तो there was a hell lot of discrimination in her family. She comes from an educated, upper middle class, military background family. What kind of discriminations, if you could just detail a bit? So there were restrictions on the clothing of the daughter and not of the brothers. They were not told तुम ये पहनना, tight कपड़े मत पहनना, या nothing of the sort. Acha, her father's thought patterns changed when they moved to Bangalore from Haryana. So you think it was his social environment? As that changed, so did his thinking. And Haryana mein you were living in like rural areas or urban? Panipat is a city. Rural areas of Panipat. Acha. Bitya? Okay. हाँ, वेरी नाइसली पुट. पहले किचन से शुरू होती थी, किचन में खत्म होती थी. अब किचन से शुरू होती है, ऑफिस जाती है, फिर किचन में खत्म होती है. थैंक यू बेटे, थैंक यू. बिटिया? पढ़ लिख नहीं रहे हो तो शादी कर लो. Girls placements, there's a huge question mark in colleges. क्यों वेस्ट कर रही हो? सॉरी, तो इट विल बी easier for you to get a job in jobs. How many of you subscribe to that? Women have it easier to get jobs. It's a formal policy which is also being translated into action. बच्चे, can we please listen everybody? Yes. Have you worked in the corporate world? Did you find it in any way discriminatory or anything?
I have felt this thing that people they just call, say to your faces, ठीक है मतलब आ रहे हो 5 में से 2 तो hire करेंगे.
अच्छा, ठीक है.
One other thing quite funny, like just related to how men have built a notion of they have power, they have hak wala cheez ka.
She was also talking about that sense of entitlement.
Funny thing for us. What I have observed whenever there is a relationship, so let's say if it is ending because of लड़की की शादी हो रही है.
लड़की की शादी, हाँ.
And the girls have no right to stay in the matter. घर वाले कर रहे हैं. Then the boy feels sad कि no option. But let's say if girl she is pulling out of the relationship on her own because of her personal matters क्या नहीं पसंद आया, then boys take like too much offense कि how dare you. Like too much कि अगर नहीं है तो.
So men have a sense of entitlement even in romantic relationships. Huh? Nobody likes to be dumped. I think, is it like a gender thing that only men have it, or won't anybody take offense at being dumped? I mean, even if you're a woman. Acha, male ego gets hurt. Huh? ठीक है. Yes. And then you would have, the most obscene ramifications like revenge porn or stuff like that. Bitya. Girls on board. So there's a lot of discrimination at the workplace. और एचआर में कौन होते हैं मोस्टली? एक गर्ल होती है. हाँ? अच्छा. बिटिया, अपना बताओ. See, why I'm asking you from personal experience, because bluntly, क्या कमी है आप लड़कियों के पास? यहाँ भेज दिया परिवार वालों ने. So you have you're preparing for a very, very competitive kind of an examination. You have been given equal access to educational opportunities as your siblings, your brothers, etc. You've been given independence. Yes or no? यहाँ दिल्ली में अकेले जी रहे हो. And still you complain? What is there what do you have to complain about? If anything at all. Huh? Except that we take more space while sitting in public spaces. बिटिया
I have the independence from my family.
जी.
Like suppose the class will get over at 9. I'll use to my PG. Every time I'll
पीजी वाले नहीं दे रहे आजादी. पिताजी ने दे दी पर पीजी ने नहीं दी. I will not feel safe on route to my PG. So I take the longer route, which is like well lit and has more of a public presence than a shorter route, which is isolated or whatever. Brother, थोड़ा सा मेल पर्सपेक्टिव भी ले लें. है टॉपिक विमेन का बट ले लेते हैं. हाँ. In what way? He's suggesting his father acts as if he's somewhat superior to his mother. In what way? In dressing. आज ये पहनो. हाँ. ठीक है. In financial matters, very importantly. In a lot of our families, the financial control is in the hands of men. और बताइए. So in decision making, in discussions, deliberations, he dominates over the mother. Otherwise, he is very liberal, except when it comes to घर की महिलाएं. Absolutely, completely. ठीक है. बिटिया. तो वो ले लेगी. It was implicit. अच्छा. हाँ 365 का 365 मल्टीप्लाई बाय 10 और वट एवर. हाँ हाँ हाँ. ठीक है. So kitchen responsibilities primarily entrusted to women. Brother. Where? Your village? Which village? Talbadiya where? Jharkhand. प्रधानपति. मूडी जी ने भी बताया था, है ना? हाँ. So because the seat is reserved for a female sarpanch, the sarpanch is female, but the real wielder of authority is the husband. Absolutely. Yes, brother. Your mother feels hesitant to ask for the share of property from your father, from her brothers. Your mama ji, her brothers, है ना? Relationship, बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल. Even though the law grants her the right to claim a share of parental property, बिल्कुल. Brother. Man marries and the woman is given marriage. Okay. लड़का शादी करता है, लड़कियों को शादी दी जाती है. Is your mother tongue some other bhasha? Bengali, na? So possibly it's lost in translation, I think. But it would like carry more. स्वाद उसका लूज हो गया. What you're saying, you know? हाँ, बिटिया. There is no definite syllabus of a mother's work, much like UPSC. ठीक है. So, to sum it all up, in our society, in various aspects of life, we do find some element of discrimination that women face. Men are somewhat regarded as superior, right? Men do enjoy greater power and authority in various matters over women. अब चलते हैं विदेश, ठीक है, पश्चिमी सभ्यता की ओर. इन वेस्टर्न सोसाइटीज, व्हाट इज योर सेंस? हाउ इज द पोजिशन ऑफ विमेन इन द वेस्ट? या जस्ट हु सेड दैट? वे हायर. व्हाई डू यू से दैट? शी इज सेइंग द पोजिशन ऑफ विमेन इज फार फार बेटर इन द वेस्ट. व्हाई? ऐसा क्या है वेस्ट में महिलाओं के पास जो भारतीय महिलाओं के पास नहीं है? Here women are hesitant to speak. They cannot take a stand for themselves. But in the West, women are free to speak their mind and take a stand for themselves. Brother? In some ways, he's suggesting India is more progressive. If you look at the abortion controversy in the US last year. और बताइए, what's your take, बिटिया? Why do you say that? You're saying everywhere women are the second choice. They are considered secondary to men. Bitya? Women are a greater part of the labor force in the West, yes, definitely. So more women are working, bilkul. And that's an important source of financial empowerment, with which also comes empowerment in the social realm. So women are freed from family obligations. To a very good extent, women have been freed from family obligations as well in the West. You may not have traveled to the West or lived in the West, but you have some idea about Western society from movies, Hollywood. ये क्या होते हैं तुम्हारे OTT के जो वेब सीरीज वगैरह, सीरियल्स वगैरह, क्या देखते हो? वहां की महिलाओं की क्या स्थिति है? क्या वो भारतीय महिलाओं जैसी है? कैसी है? Compare it to that of the status of women in the villages of Jharkhand. American women कैसे अलग है झारखंडी women से? They have far more freedom. Freedom to do what? To wear any kind of clothes that they want to. So there is no moral policing of one's whatever one is wearing. और तो वहां पे लड़कियां छोटे छोटे कपड़े पहन सकती हैं, कोई ऊंची नजर से नहीं, क्या गलत नजर से नहीं देखेगा. और चॉइस ऑफ मैरिज. Yes, so here women are forced into a certain marital union based on caste, various other considerations. It's an arranged marriage system. वहां पे love marriage, बिल्कुल. और जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं, सुट्टा मारने की आजादी है. यस और नो? हाँ. और फाइनेंशियल फ्रीडम है. बिटिया नो, सुट्टा या मार सकते हैं, छुप के ज्यादा मारना पड़ता है. रोड पे मारते? अच्छा है. एंड इट डजंट रेज आईब्रोज. ओके, ठीक है. नॉट इन दिल्ली. और बिटिया? So you're saying back in the US, your aunt calls your uncle by his first name or some nickname, Janu, Shonu type. But when she's in India, she makes sure that she calls him Aap, with an honorific. Huh. In India, while in India. Or in the US, does he go in the kitchen? He's sitting in the kitchen only in the US. Any of you lived in any of the Western countries for a short while? कुछ भी रहे हो, कुछ महीने, साल? What was your observation? Lay observation, not what you read or something. What did you observe? Where did you stay and what did you observe? 2 months in Denmark, Copenhagen, and what did you see? So it was a co-ed hostel, and guys, don't cross talk यार. सुनो ना, आप गए हो कोपेनहेगन, तो उनके एक्सपीरियंस से सीखो. हाँ, मैं भी नहीं गया. सीखो और सीखने दो. बताओ. Everyone used to cook their own food, so they don't have a lugai concept in Denmark, that the lugai cooks. So you can't judge it on that dimension. Huh. So was that a youth thing or age thing, or was it a gender thing? मतलब लड़के लड़की में कोई फर्क नहीं था, जो एटलीस्ट इन द यूथ हॉस्टल वे यू वर. So a lot of equality in the distribution of tasks, at least in the youth hostel where you stayed for 2 months. Brother? He was in Canada for a year. वहां पे लोग ताड़ते नहीं हैं, जो इंडिया में ताड़ते हैं लड़कियों को. नॉन एग्जिस्टेंट. ताड़ना इज नॉन एग्जिस्टेंट इन कैनेडा. तो वहां से तो हमारे बहुत सरदार भाई गए, वो लोग भी नहीं ताड़ते. No eve teasing or something. So even nudity, public nudity did not raise any eyebrows. Okay. और बताइए. Brother? sewer management or waste management, in tasks like these, there are mostly men. Interesting point there. Women, feminists, अब कहाँ गई तुम्हारी equality की demand, is what he is suggesting. You want equality in that sphere as well. In prisons also, most of the prison mates are men. Nahi, so his argument is that men are at the receiving end. It's not a good thing to be in prisons, na? Or men are more punished or branded as criminals. She is saying लड़कियां थोड़ी ना रेप करती हैं. ठीक है. He is saying आधे से ज्यादा false rape cases होते हैं. बिटिया. He is saying sewer cleaning does not afford me any dignity or big money. तो उनकी महिलाएं क्यों नहीं कर रही? तो ये भी आपकी पेट्रियार्की है जो जाके आप संडास में घूम रहे हो, घुस रहे हो. ठीक है. हाँ ब्रदर. So it's more of a class phenomena than a gender thing. He is responding to what you just said. It's more of a class thing. They're compelled to do it by poverty. But you know, his argument is also, it has merit. You sound like Jordan Peterson. You know? है ना? हाँ.
My father said exactly this line. भले ही बाहर हलवाई हो पर घर पे खाना पीने से ही बनवाएगा.
हाँ, बाहर बेशक हलवाई हो पर घर पे खाना लुगाई ही पोएगी. बिल्कुल. Wonderful. Brother. Women are more secure in the US. Secure as in? Say in public spaces at night or late in the evenings, women are more secure. Women are not judged. Even strippers, etc., they are not judged. Okay. So a lot of moral judgment, moral policing is there in India. Yes. ठीक है. Women are now misusing all the pro-women laws, etc. False cases of rape and domestic violence और न जाने क्या क्या. We are blindly supporting women. हाँ बिटिया. Men feel कि अपन ही भगवान है, she says, if they know even the basics of cooking. Yeah. ठीक है. So the bar is set higher for women when it comes to cooking skills. Yeah. ठीक है, ठीक है. Thank you. लिखिए. Women. Let me take up a couple of online comments as well. If you accept industrialization, why you hesitate to accept modernization in the context of homosexuality? I am unable to make head or tail of that question, very honestly. We, sir, in the marriage, and the groom comes to marry us. Common phrase among Bengalis. Can any Bengali understand and explain? We, sir, in the marriage, and the groom comes to marry us. It's a common phrase among Bengalis. क्या मतलब हुआ इसका? Bengali culture. हाँ. Okay, so you're suggesting that the wife is in a dominant position. Somewhat that is being suggested. The groom comes to take the wife, right? हाँ, ठीक है. So what is the implication that wife is in a dominant position? That this is the implication, and that bride is in a dominant position, that they are the sought after. So that is why the groom is coming to pick them up. Bride is like a trophy. Huh? Yeah, I think she's saying that women, it shows the higher position that women enjoy. Does it, this saying? Boys enjoying more power. Okay. Guys, चलिए क्या लिखा है? Women constitute 50%, 50, or half of the world's population, comma. They work for two-thirds or 66% of the world's work hours. The world's work hours. दुनिया में 100 घंटे काम हो रहा है तो 67 घंटे 66 घंटे महिलाएं कर रही हैं, कॉमा. They earn 1%, sorry, 1/10. They earn 1/10 or 10% of the world's income. And they own 1/100th or 1% of the world's property. I repeat, women constitute half of the world's population, work for about 2/3 of the world's work hours, earn 1/10 of the world's income, and own 1/100th of the world's property. This statement was made in a United Nations report in 1980. UN report, United Nations report. If you think that's dated, outdated, it was reiterated in a World Bank report in 2012. Also reiterated in a World Bank report in 2012. 1980. So, in 1980 in a UN report and 2012 also in a World Bank report. Point is, friends, that there is globally an asymmetry in power, position, privilege between men and women. Recent reports and studies suggest, according to UN Women, United Nations Women, according to UN Women, women make up more than 2/3. Women make up more than 2/3 of the world's illiterate population. Less than 20% of the world's landholders are women. ठीक? According to the World Bank, and I was startled to know this, what I am just sharing with you, only 6 countries in the world give women equal legal work rights as men. Only 6 countries in the whole world give women equal legal work rights as men. One would expect at least legal equality to be far more common. But even in terms of the legal rights, women have equal rights pertaining to work only in 6 countries. We have near about 200 odd countries. Okay? Only in 6 countries. According to UN, globally, women spend 3 times as many hours as men. Women globally spend 3 times as many hours as men on unpaid domestic work. On unpaid domestic work. ठीक है? So patriarchy, friends, please appreciate. Patriarchy, roughly meaning male dominance, is a global phenomena. It may vary in degree or intensity, right? It may be more severe in some regions or some societies than others. It may vary in its forms or manifestations. Are you with me? So, for example, in say developing societies like India, like the Middle East, you will find that women's bodies are fully clothed. Yes or no? There is a great control over how they dress, etc. There is patriarchal controls regarding, there is moral policing, patriarchal controls on what they wear. In the West, you have the opposite phenomena of lot of commodification of women's bodies. Yes or no? So its manifestations may vary, its forms may change, its intensity or degree may differ, but patriarchy, friends, is prevalent across the globe. ठीक है? Give a subheading: sexual division of labor and patriarchy. Sexual division of labor and patriarchy. what do we understand by sexual division of labor? It simply means that in a society, different tasks are assigned to different genders. In other words, in every society, there are some tasks which are assigned to men, certain other tasks which are assigned to women. That is sexual division of labor. Dividing or assigning work based on one's gender. Clear? So do we, in our society, in India, do we have a sexual division of labor? In other words, can you identify some tasks as men's tasks and some tasks as women's tasks? For example, I say truck driver. Who is it? It's a man's job. Electrician, man. Plumber, man. Nurse, women. Primary school teacher, women. Women. Domestic chores, women. Child rearing, women. Air hostess, women. Receptionist, women. ठीक है ना? Civil engineer, man. Mechanical engineer, man. So there are certain tasks we can identify as men's jobs and certain tasks we can identify as women's jobs. ठीक? This is what we call sexual division of labor. Okay? And what do you understand by patriarchy? The word patriarchy literally means patri plus archy. Archy, suffix archy means rule of. Patri referring to the father. So literally the word patriarchy means rule of the father. The word patriarchy literally means rule of the father. ठीक? So it was, originally it referred to a system where the father figure enjoyed power within the family. Okay? Or dominated within the family. However, today the term patriarchy has of course acquired a much broader connotation. It refers to a system of male dominance in the society as a whole, not just in the family. Are you with me? So patriarchy now refers to a male dominated society. ठीक? सिल्विया वॉल्बी, एक बड़ी ही सुंदर, सिंपल, multi-purpose definition of patriarchy and comprehensive. According to Sylvia Walby, patriarchy is a system of social structures and practices where men dominate, oppress, and exploit who? Women. A system of social structures and practices where men dominate, oppress, and exploit women. ठीक है? तो ऐसा नहीं है कि patriarchy or male dominance is prevalent only in the Indian society. It is also prevalent in the developed Western societies, perhaps different in its manifestations. ठीक? Now, सवाल उठता है why? Let me pose a rather uncomfortable question. Okay? ध्यान से सुनिएगा and जवाब दीजिएगा. Given that, do we agree firstly that patriarchy is a universal phenomena? Please raise your hands. That patriarchy is a universal phenomena. Undoubtedly we all, including men and women, can agree on this. कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं that men are superior to women? Given that men are enjoying greater power, privilege, authority, greater control, they dominate women in every society. Is it not the case that we possibly are superior to women? It hurts. But is it true? Huh? But only logically speaking, from a feminist standpoint, this is like misogynistic to even suggest this. Huh? What do you say, guys? Brother? He is saying in certain spheres, men are undoubtedly superior to women, such as he is saying sports and she is saying array. Huh? Why do you say array? हाँ, हरियाणा की बेटी को भूल गए, हमारी बेटियां बेटों से कम है के? हाँ, हाँ.
They are very good wrestlers, no doubt. But then if we have to forcibly compare, then we have to see facts.
You are saying men will defeat women, men sportspersons will defeat women sportspersons in any competitions, huh?
Serena Williams just spoke it out as simple as that. She's the best female tennis player ever. She has more Grand Slams than any other man in contemporary section, like men's tennis. But you can search it on YouTube. She said that the physique and the strength and the reaction time is just different. In a sense, she was asked if you go against Andy Murray, who is I think he has 1 or 2 Grand Slams, and 2 digits.
So why else do we have separate sports competitions for men and women? We are talking about various things. We'll also come to cerebral equality or competitiveness. But his limited argument for now is that at least in terms of sporting caliber, men beat women.
You exclusively asked if they are different. Because in cerebral capacity, there is all hard work. There is no difference.
और बताइए, guys, brother, what do you say? Girls have more flexible bodies, so they do better in gymnastics than men. And who has strength? Men have greater physical strength than women. Undebatable. In hunting-gathering societies, strength was all important. Bitya. So to compare men and women, you're like saying it's comparing apples and oranges. बराबरी तो मांग ही रहे हो आप. But you aren't. ठीक है, हमें किसी का मुंह नहीं तोड़ना, और दैट्स नॉट अ डेफिनेशन ऑफ सक्सेस. हाँ, ठीक है. So women should be regarded as different but equal. Brother.
Anatomical differences are there, but it doesn't mean that there should be a hierarchy.
There should not be a hierarchy. Bitya. Hmm.
Serena Williams can't play much better than any other main player.
Hmm.
It's different. But just on the basis of this thing, what I feel is that it has been perpetuated in all social spheres. Like in every field, men is better.
Hmm.
I'm not claiming it, but just example, if we are, so much impressed by men's physique and they are very powerful, why is it women always who fetch water from far away?
Very good.
Women do that.
Bilkul.
I think just on the basis of that superiority, they have just fixed it in all spheres.
So this is men's excuse to claim a superior status. Huh? Brother. They have been performing exceedingly well. They are bagging the top ranks. In the UPSC exam, women have been doing better. Also in CBSE 12th board exams, typically. Yes. Western village work. और आदमी बैठ के हुक्का फूकते रहते हैं. ठीक है बिटिया.
So one thing I've observed is men and women get married, they don't love each other in a way that a father loves his daughter.
Clearly.
For example, if my mother is working in the kitchen, my father's wife, he would not. She's working for 4 hours, maybe she'll just go and ask once. If I enter the kitchen for 10 minutes, he'll be head over heels to come and help me. You don't do.
So
It's not just it's the bond missing between. And since this marriage has always been there, कि लड़की ही लड़के के घर जाएगी, she will adopt her surname, she will have to please his family. ये system इतना rigid हो गया है कि women is always told to adjust and she's
चलो ठीक है, but with due respect, that's a slight digression from what we were really on. Brother. Physical, bodily, brute force. So things should change, you're suggesting. We live in very different times than when physical strength was everything. Was the dominant factor. ठीक है. Friends, tell me, broadly, are men and women same? Yes or no? No. Clearly, men and women are not the same. In other words, they are different. Given that they are not same, let us try to appreciate how they are different. One, can we all agree upon the fact that that men and women are anatomically different? The female anatomy and the male anatomy are different. They have different body parts. No denying this, right? So, not only do they have different body parts, there are also different bodily processes associated with, say, the woman's body, which are not associated with a man's body, such as lactation, such as menstruation, right? These are only associated with the female body and not with the male body. Now, can we also agree, another difference which is commonly agreed upon is the differences in strength. Broadly, that the male body is more muscular than the female body. Can we broadly agree upon that? Including women here, that the male body is more muscular than the female body. साफ बात है, you pick up the average woman and the average man, और उनके बीच में लगवाओ पंजा. Whom will you place your money on? ठीक है. You would have exceptional, किसी एवरेज जो बंदे का सेरेना विलियम्स से लगाओगे तो वो हारेगा ही, जाहिर है ना. बट on an average, the male body is relatively more muscular than the female body. ठीक. Can we also agree upon differences that they are mentally and emotionally different? Men and women. Can we say that they have different mental, they are wired differently, as it were? Huh? For example, tell me if you agree or disagree. One widely held belief is that women make poor drivers. They don't have a sense of direction and they're not good with. Yes or no? Can we agree on that? Women make worse drivers. No? कि लड़की चला रही है, दूर हो जाओ, है ना, दूर से निकालो, वरना वो ठोकी देगी, बेशक खाली रोड है or something. Okay, or that women are worse at mathematics. Huh? Men have more calculating or whatever kind of better mathematical ability. No. That women are more empathetic and caring. Somehow they are so biologically or emotionally. Also that men are more, forget socialization or society and culture, but men are more, innately, genetically more aggressive. Because men have testosterone, which is an aggression-linked hormone, which while women have estrogen or whatever. Right? So men are geared for domination and aggression. Genetically and biologically. Can we say that? Aggression. Huh? See, so a lot of things we cannot agree upon. Okay, but yes, what we can agree upon is that men and women are different anatomically, right? In terms of their bodily strength. G.P. Murdoch. He conducted a study of about 224 different types of societies. Covering the whole gamut, you understand? Why very industrialized से primitive, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, दुनिया जहान की सब geography में अलग अलग cultures की सारी societies इन्होंने study की. And he found that in all societies there exists a sexual division of labor. Matlab, in all society there are certain tasks which are performed by men and other tasks which are assigned to women. And why is this universal sexual division of labor? It arises simply from the biological differences between men and women. Two important differences in the human anatomy. One is that women's bodies are associated with reproduction. So women's bodies have a womb, women menstruate, women lactate. So only women's bodies are by nature or by biology geared for reproduction. So because women engage in reproduction and after reproduction, nursing the child, right? Because only women lactate. Therefore, those tasks which require traveling long distances are assigned to men. Because it will be difficult for a woman if she is carrying a baby in her tummy, or if she has a child she is nursing. Are you with me? It will be difficult practically for a woman to travel long distances. So those tasks which require traveling long distances are assigned to men. Those tasks which can be done near to the home base without traveling are assigned to women. जो काम घर के पास से या घर में बैठे बैठे हो सकते हैं वो महिलाओं को दिए जाते हैं, और जिन कामों के लिए दूर दराज जाना होता है वो पुरुषों को समाज निर्धारित करता है. ठीक. ऑल्सो गिवन द फैक्ट दैट द मेल बॉडी हैज ग्रेटर स्ट्रेंथ, those tasks which require greater muscular strength are assigned to men. Those tasks which do not require a lot of muscular strength are assigned to women. ठीक. So, for example, for trade, who will go to far off places? Men. For war, who will go? कौन जाएगा दूसरे राजा पे आक्रमण करने? Men. रोटी पोना? Women. Cooking? Women's job. Are you with me? Domestic chores? Women. Are you with me? Hunting. Who will do? Men. Plucking leaves? Women. Are you with me? So it is simply the universal sexual division of labor, which is found in all societies, is simply an outcome of practical considerations for efficiency due to the differences in human biology of the two sexes. आदमियों का और औरतों का शरीर अलग अलग होता है, कुदरत ने निर्धारित किया है, इसलिए समाज उनको अलग अलग कार्य देता है जो वो अपने कुदरती स्टफ के अकॉर्डिंग मोस्ट एफिशिएंटली कर सकें. ठीक. इसीलिए हर समाज में आप क्या पाओगे? दैट वॉर, पॉलिटिक्स, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन इज डोमिनेटेड बाय मेन. इकोनॉमी, ट्रेड एंड कॉमर्स इज डोमिनेटेड बाय मेन. बट डोंट लूज हार्ट. हाउस होल्ड चोर्स आर ऑलमोस्ट द एक्सक्लूसिव प्रिजर्व ऑफ women. Raising children is the exclusive preserve of women. Yes or no? Yes or no? No. कौन बोली? Anne Oakley. She vehemently criticizes Murdoch's conclusions. She points out several counter-examples to suggest that sexual division of labor is not universal. For instance, in 38 societies, cooking is done by both men and women. In 14 societies, 1/4. लंबरिंग, लंबरिंग मतलब पेड़ काटना, लकड़ी काटना. अकॉर्डिंग टू मर्डॉक कौन काटेगा? Men. But according to Oakley, in 14 societies, lumbering was done by both men and women. Simply, friends, her argument is that the woman's biology does not prevent her from performing certain kinds of tasks. What Murdoch seems to be suggesting. Are you with me? Murdoch seems to be suggesting that women are constrained by biology. And those tasks which they are not able to do are therefore assigned to men. But Oakley argues, no, this is a male-centric analysis. In many societies, men do those tasks which can be done nearer home, etc., like cooking or whatever. Yes or no? In many societies, women do those tasks which require travel or which may be regarded as heavy work. In many societies, women are an important and integral part of the army. So war is not an exclusive preserve of men. In countries like Israel, Russia, बहुत सारी societies में women have been an integral part of the armed forces. You go to construction sites in India. You go to brick kiln in India. ईंट के भट्टे कौन उठाता है? बहुत सारी women are engaged. Women laborers. Yes or no? So, it is not apt to argue that the woman's body is, in any sense, incapable of performing certain tasks which are strenuous. Right? In any case, yes, in any case, friends, please appreciate, it doesn't explain, even if women's tasks were due to biology, as G.P. Murdoch argues, it doesn't explain why should those tasks which women perform be assigned a lower status in society, given less dignity. Yes or no? Because of which you have male dominance. Why should household chores be regarded as non-work, as it is in many societies? Yes or no? ठीक. सब हेडिंग दीजिए विमेन एंड डेवलपमेंट. विमेन एंड डेवलपमेंट. I said in many countries you have women being an important part of the armies. You have a large number of women participating in the labor force. Working women, yes or no? In many societies, men were found to be doing cooking, women were found to be doing strenuous tasks like lumbering. Now, क्या नाम है तुम्हारा? Give a subheading, women and development. How do you understand the relationship between the position of women in a society and the level of its development? Any inputs? समाज की तरक्की और समाज में औरतों की पोजीशन का क्या रिलेशन है, ब्रदर? Okay, so as a society gets more developed, you see an improvement in the position of women in the society. As a society becomes more developed, there is, in general, an improvement in the position of women in the society. Or we could also look at it this way, that in more developed countries, the position of women is relatively better than in less developed countries or developing countries. Right? So one is that. Brother? हाँ, बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल. See, what do we mean by development here? It means social progress. Social progress could be in economic, political, various terms, right? In general, the process of industrialization and modernization is considered somewhat coterminous with development. Okay? Brother? Yes. So very importantly, we need to also appreciate that the relationship between the status of women in society and developmental levels is not one way. In other words, Dhanyavad Bhaiya. In other words, it's not just that the level of development of the society has an impact on the position of women. The position of women, the treatment of women in the society will also affect the pace of development of the society. In other words, in those societies where women are accorded a relatively lowly position, will develop slower than those where women are equal participants in the process of development. Bluntly, for example, if a society is pre-modern or traditional or developing, like ours, okay? I won't say traditional, but we are developing kind of a society. If you have patriarchal mindsets that women should not work outside the home, that will mean what? That 50% of the population will not be gainfully employed, will not be contributing to GDP growth. That will hamper GDP growth. Yes or no? So the level of development of the society is also affected by the position of women in the society. It's a two-way relationship. ठीक? Please write down according to the ILO. International Labour Organization. Globally, there is a gender gap in labor force participation rate. There is a gender gap in the labor force participation rate. There is globally a gender gap of the magnitude of about 23%. लेबर फोर्स पार्टिसिपेशन रेट में जेंडर गैप का मतलब क्या हुआ कि हाउ मेनी पीपल से लेबर फोर्स पार्टिसिपेशन रेट would mean कि हाउ मेनी पीपल who can be in the labor force are in the labor force. Okay? So gender gap would indicate women's lesser access to the labor market or job opportunities. Are you with me? A gender gap indicates women's lesser access to job opportunities or lesser participation in the labor market. Globally, there is a gender gap in labor force participation rate of the order of about 23%. This gender gap is far more in developing societies like ours. In South Asia, the gender gap in labor force participation rate is about 50%. Is about 50%. मतलब मेन का अगर लेबर फोर्स पार्टिसिपेशन रेट है 77%, विमेन का है ओनली 27%. समझ रहे? 50% जेंडर गैप है इन लेबर फोर्स पार्टिसिपेशन रेट इन साउथ एशिया. वेस्ट में भी है क्या? डू women have less access to the labor market even in the West? The answer is yes, but it is much less than in developing societies. So in Europe and North America, gender gap is 12%. Far less, but it is substantial. हमसे बहुत कम है, पर तब भी significant है, शून्य नहीं है. हाँ? Gender gap in labor force participation rates in Europe and North America is about 12%. ठीक है? ILO suggests that women have to bear a motherhood penalty. Women have to bear a motherhood penalty. Women, or specifically mothers, have to bear a motherhood penalty. What is this motherhood penalty? So those women who are mothers, they are less likely to be promoted to managerial positions. Women who are mothers are less likely to be promoted to managerial or higher positions. क्यों? ऑफिस में ममता लाएंगी? बढ़िया नहीं है? Why do women, specifically not just women who are mothers, why are they less likely to be promoted to higher positions? Yes. So employers, organizations perceive that a lot of, those women who bear children, their energies, time, attention, focus will be diverted to raising their children than to their jobs. So organizations are also hesitant to promote mothers into managerial positions. ठीक? See friends, a lot of women have in the West, as modernization and development has taken place, increasing number of women have joined the labor market in the West. Has that resulted in equality between men and women in the labor market? In the labor market, has increasing participation of women resulted in equality between the sexes in the labor market? The answer is no. No, it has not. Though women are entering the job market in large numbers, they are entering a specifically women's jobs market. Women are entering a specifically women's jobs market. In other words, women are competing with other women rather than men. Women are competing with other women for jobs in specifically the women's jobs market. What we call pink collar jobs. And women's jobs in general are paid less and accorded lesser dignity or prestige in society. There are lesser avenues for promotion in women's jobs. Anne Oakley, she says that women's jobs are an extension of their domestic roles. Women's jobs are an extension of their domestic roles. जो काम महिला घर पे कर रही है वही काम बाहर जाके जॉब मार्केट में कर रही है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, whose task is it to care for the sick and the elderly at home? It is the woman's job. And then when she joins the job market as a nurse, she is performing the same role of nursing the sick and the elderly. समझ गए? Whose job is it to look after children at home? Women. And when she becomes a primary school teacher, she is performing a parallel role in the outside the home. ठीक? So women's jobs are in many ways an extension of the role she performs at home. Specifically for women, according to Oakley. Veronica Beachy. Do we know her? We must have come across her. कौन है ये? Veronica Beachy. Yes. फेमिनिस्ट पढ़े थे हमने, उनमें एक नाम था इनका. सच्ची. ठीक है, चलो अब जान लो. शी इज अ मार्क्सिस्ट फेमिनिस्ट. मार्क्सिस्ट फेमिनिस्ट हैं. ये क्या कहती हैं? विमेन आर एन इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ द रिजर्व आर्मी ऑफ लेबर. विमेन आर एन इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ द रिजर्व आर्मी ऑफ लेबर. Now this reserve army of labor is a Marxist concept. I'll explain. Don't write continuously, just hear me out. It will become clear. Reserve army of labor means what? According to the Marxist perspective, the capitalist economy is inherently unstable. It is inherently unstable. It goes through highs and lows. Highs matlab when there is a huge demand, the going is good. ठीक है? There's a lot of cash with or money with people to spend, and there's a lot of demand for products. Low would be when the economy is in the dumps, people don't have any money to spend, right? So the capitalist, when the going is good, when there's a high demand for his products, he will require extra labor power to boost production, to meet that high demand. Higher than usual labor force he will require. ठीक है? But when the economy is on a downturn, when the demand for his products is low, he cannot afford to keep those workers on his payrolls, otherwise they'll eat into his profits. So he needs to get rid of them. Are you with me? So he needs a dispensable workforce. At least a portion of his workforce should be dispensable, whom he can hire when required to boost production, and whom he can fire when the going is not so good. That workforce is what is called the reserve army of labor. Reserve army matlab ek standing pool hai of labor force, potential recruits to the labor force. Are you with me? So women are an important part of that reserve army of labor. So when capitalists require extra labor power to meet the growing demand, they can hire women workers, and then they're easily expendable. So they can be laid off when the times are tough. Are you with me? Why are women workers so expendable unlike male workers? Male workers are not so easily expendable, cannot be chucked out so easily, like women workers can be. Please appreciate, A, who is considered as the primary breadwinner of the house? It is the male worker. So he must have a source of income at all times because he has a family to support. But the female worker's income is regarded as secondary, supplementing the income of the main breadwinner, the male breadwinner. Are you with me? औरत भी 4 पैसे कमा लेगी तो और अच्छा है. घर तो आदमी की कमाई से चलता है. Are you with me? So, even if at times she is out of job, that is somewhat socially very acceptable. Are you with me? Moreover, women themselves require breaks in their careers, particularly when they become pregnant and are nursing. Okay? So, due to childbirth, women require regular breaks in their careers. All in all, because of these, the society, capitalists, women themselves view their jobs as somewhat less important than men's. So the capitalists can also more easily dispense away with any extra workforce. Are you with me? Particularly the women workers. So women are an important part of the reserve army of labor. Recruit when to boost demand, production when demand is high, and lay off when the demand is low. Simply that women workers are more dispensable. Okay, easily dispensable. They can be hired to boost production and easily dispensed with in tough times. ठीक? Because women's income is considered as supplementing the income of the primary male breadwinner. ठीक? Do capitalists like to have women workers on their payrolls or not? Yes or no? Yes. Reason being, A, women can be paid less than male workers. Women can be paid less than male workers. Also, because of gendered socialization, women more than men, female workers are socialized to be compliant, docile, non-aggressive, conformist. Yes or no? और ऐसे ही वर्कर्स हमें चाहिए. Because of gendered socialization, women workers are more docile and compliant and, passive or non-aggressive. ठीक है? You want your break now or later? Later? Now. Hi friends, and you'll need to be patient. ठीक है? Where were we? We had discussed last what? वेरोनिका बीची ना? हाँ, चलिए अब चलते हैं बीची से आगे. Also friends, when women's participation in the sphere of work is hampered by various obstacles, various concerns as follows. Women's participation in economic life is hampered by various concerns as follows. There are several impediments that they face, such as the glass ceiling, such as the glass ceiling. What's a glass ceiling, friends? Have you heard this term? It's like now in regular usage. Yes, what does it mean? See, so when women at the workplace, when they try a rise to the top, can they rise theoretically? Yes, women can aspire to the topmost positions in the world of work. But practically, when they try do so, when they rise up the corporate hierarchy, they encounter an invisible barrier. That's why it's called a glass ceiling, right? Theoretically, the way to the top is open, but they literally hit an invisible barrier or a glass ceiling on their way to the top. And what is this invisible barrier? In other words, if organizations state that we are like all for gender equality and having women in top positions, then why isn't that translated into practice? What is that invisible barrier, brother? So yes, that the top positions, it's like an old boys club, right? Yes, brother? Gender stereotypes. Can you elaborate on that? Yes, so there are certain gender biases or stereotypes that women are, for instance, soft. And being in top positions requires taking hard decisions. Yes or no? Such kinds of gender stereotypes are there. Also, a lot of men, due to stereotypical notions of masculinity and femininity, are unable to submit to a woman's authority. So men in an organization find it very difficult to deal with female bosses. Are you with me? मुझे कोई मेल बॉस डांट देगा, लताड़ देगा, मैं सह लूंगा, पर कोई वुमन बोल देगी मैं सह पाऊंगा क्या? नहीं. ठीक है? This term glass ceiling was coined by Marilyn Loden. Marilyn Loden. ठीक है? Now it's of course in common parlance also become very popular. A newer, more interesting concept that I came across was that of the glass cliff. Glass cliff. by Michelle Ryan. Have you heard of the glass cliff, anybody? What is it, brother? That's not the whole of it. Yes, absolutely. Yes. So when an organization is faced with a crisis and the chances of failure are high, women are catapulted to leadership positions. Women are fast-tracked to the top positions when there is a crisis and the chances of failure are high. And when the organization fails, right, when failure happens, it is the onus, the blame is put on women. Are you with me? So it's like cliff पे लेके नीचे धक्का दे दिया, like that. In that sense, a glass cliff. ठीक? आप खुश हो रहे होते हो कि I'm rising, but this is the underlying reason, that there's an imminent collapse of the organization, for which then the blame is put on the women. And then it serves like a self-fulfilling prophecy. कहा था ना, women are not good in leadership positions. देखा? Hence proved. Are you with me? Another problem that women encounter at the workplace and in the society at large is sexual harassment. Sexual harassment. क्या होती है sexual harassment? Is it only sexual crimes like rape? और क्या? Making someone sexually conscious, awkward. And how one may do that? By staring or tadna, or by inappropriate comments, unsolicited. आज बहुत अच्छी लग रही है, yes or no? ये कलर आप पे खूब जचता है, seemingly harmless. Yes. Asking for sexual favors. Absolutely. Right? So it can be manifested in various ways. Inappropriate touching. Right? Elizabeth Stanko defines sexual harassment as very simple and, should I say, very apt definition. Defines sexual harassment as unwanted sexual attention. Unwanted sexual attention. It may be, full stop डाल के, it may be verbal, such as casual comments, with a sexual tinge, or visual, such as sharing pornographic content, yes or no, or physical, such as inappropriate touch, right? Q. Why do men engage in sexual harassment of women, and specifically in the context of the workplace? Bluntly, is it in the expectation of sex? Are they expecting sexual activity through sexual harassment? क्या जो लड़कियों के साथ छेड़खानी होती है एट दी वर्क प्लेस, वो इसलिए होती है क्योंकि जो हरासर है, ही इज एक्सपेक्टिंग टू एंड अप हैविंग सेक्स विद दैट पर्सन? मोस्टली नॉट. देन व्हाई? टू belittle them. Very aptly put. Yes. they know there will be no repercussions. Rather than think, they know that most of the times there will be no repercussions. Sense of entitlement. Absolutely, very nicely put. You know? So, how Stanko explains it, that sexual harassment at the workplace is the male response to women's increasing participation in the sphere of work. Men literally mark out territory. That work sphere is the territory of, domain of who? Men. Through sexual harassment. So men consider the workplace as the preserve of men, and when women challenge this notion by entering this sphere of work, men respond through sexual harassment. Men consider the workplace as a male preserve or male territory. So when women breach male territory or enter into male territory, the sphere of work, men retaliate or respond through sexual harassment. It is literally to, quote unquote, show women their place. Are you with me? कि तुम्हारी सही जगह कहाँ है? घर पे. बाहर निकलोगी तो ये तो होगा ही. ठीक? A survey was conducted by the government of UK. Sexual harassment survey, which found that, how common is it, friends? Is it common or rare? Does it happen in the kind of workplaces you and I go to? Multinationals with air conditioning and everywhere. हाँ? Fancy बढ़िया offices में बिल्कुल होता है. The survey found that 72% of UK's population had experienced sexual harassment in their lifetime. 72%. Sorry? It says UK's population, including all the respondents. I don't have the exact composition of the, the percentage of men and women in the survey, but it says 72% of UK's population. Okay. So it is very widely prevalent. Lisa Adkins, Lisadkins, has highlighted the sexualization of women's work. Sexualization of women's work. Meaning what? In many industries, friends, deliberately young and attractive women are hired, to fill certain positions, so as to sexually titillate the male clientele. Young and attractive women are employed in certain professions simply to cater to the male eye. Yes or no? Such as air hostesses, prime classic example, right? Receptionists, waitresses. And in these jobs, the hired women were often advised to just slightly use their sexuality while catering to the male clients. For example, in a very, should I say, mild manner, but nevertheless use sexuality, such as smile a lot, laugh a lot, right? To keep the male clients somewhat engaged. Huh? It is, there is some element of sexuality involved there, and deliberate employment of that is suggested by the employers to the female employees. Women and religion. Moving on from the economy, let us now try to appreciate how religions treat women. How is the position of women in religion? How do you see it, friends? Say in our religion, most of us here are Hindu, right? Demographically, how do you see the position of women in Hinduism? हिंदू धर्म में नारी की क्या स्थिति है, क्या बिटिया? Sati Pratha has been dispensed with modernization. You had something to say, Bitya? Brother? We worship women simply in the form of Devi. Huh? But control them by putting them on a pedestal. And why do you say that? Unki sexuality? So the honor of the community, the family is vested in, or is equated with the quote-unquote purity of women. And that is a tool to control their sexuality, their mobility, so many things. Very nice. Brother. Female feticide. And you linking that to religion? We're talking specifically about the role of religion in the position of women. Bitya. The concepts like Kanyadan. I will be given away, दान किया जाएगा like a vastu. No matter I become an IAS, फिर भी मेरा कन्यादान होगा. Or as that Alia Bhatt says, why not Kanyaman? Why Kanyadan? Brother? Women are more burdened with obligations, or in the vachans that one takes during shadi. Raksha Bandhan. Chota bhai badi behan ki raksha karta hai. So women are seen as needing the protection of the male members of the family. Women are taught to worship their husbands. Isn't that great? Priests male होते हैं. Widow is considered ashubh and not made a welcome presence in religious rituals. Menstruating women are considered impure, not allowed to enter. Yes or no, brother? There are restrictions on women's mobility and working outside the home. चलिए, How about other religions? Christianity, Islam, the other two major world religions. How do you see the position of women in these? Any Muslims or Christians in the house? Even better. Brother? You're Christian? Okay. A rib of Adam. Eve was created from Adam's rib. And who tempted Adam to consume that forbidden fruit, resulting in that original sin? It was Eve. So the fault was Eve's. And for which the humanity is still paying the price. ठीक? Adam जी तो बहुत अच्छे थे. Yes. और बताइए. Islam? Brother? Muslim? No. Then secondary in dargah or in mosques. Not allowed to enter mosques, है ना? बिल्कुल. So scholars like Karen Armstrong feminist scholars suggest that nearly all religions are patriarchal. Nearly all the major world religions are patriarchal. In most religions, God is a man. God is a man. In most religions, the important church positions are held by who? Men. चाहे पोप हो और कार्डिनल्स हो या इमाम हो या खलीफा हो या शंकराचार्य हो, कौन होते हैं? Men. The menstruation taboo is widely prevalent across religions. So menstruating women are regarded as, deemed as impure. Yes or no? And not allowed to enter places of worship. The founders and the prophets of most religions were men. चाहे आप सिख गुरुज ले लो, आप इस्लाम के प्रॉफिट्स ले लो, आप जूडाइज्म क्रिश्चियनिटी के फाउंडर्स ले लो, आप जैन तीर्थंकर्स ले लो, ये सब कौन थे? Men. Religious scriptures have been mostly authored by who? Men. Authored and interpreted by men. Why is it so? Why does it matter? What if I counter argue, ठीक है, men may be dominating over religion, but उससे जीवन में क्या ही फर्क पड़ता है? पड़ता है, बहुत ज्यादा पड़ता है. Please appreciate, religion is not merely dealing with the otherworldly. Religion deals with this worldly matters. Yes or no? For example, the respective rights and duties of the husband and the wife. Many cultures it is as defined by religion. Rights over children. Rights over property. Inheritance rights. Divorce, maintenance. Lot of these this worldly things. The religious norms dictate a lot of these matters. So these aren't sidey affairs और सिर्फ इंडिविजुअल और भगवान के बीच का रिश्ता. Simply religious norms governing many secular matters such as adoption, property ownership, rights over children, the roles and obligations of husband and wife, etc., 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 are laid down by religion. ठीक? In favor of who? Men. So who inherit property in most societies? Men. Simone de Beauvoir, and don't tell me how to pronounce it. I've been pronouncing it like this for a decade now. Wahi. In her book, The Second Sex, इनकी किताब का नाम है The Second Sex, suggests that, but before you write, you tell me. Friends, now what we are saying, that most religious norms are loaded against who? Women. But what is your observation as a layman? Okay, your observation of the social world, of the things around you. In general, who are more particular about religious observances? Who are more religious, men or women? Invariably, it is mostly women. घर में माही होती है ना, जो सारे व्रत रखती है, पूजा पाठ का लिए पर्टिकुलर होती हैं, हाँ, प्रसाद ना फेंके इसके लिए पर्टिकुलर, एंड सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ, राइट? So Simone de Beauvoir writes in a book that religion is the opium of women. Religion is the opium of women. ठीक है? अर्थात it makes them passive. It helps perpetuate the status quo, the gender hierarchy. It teaches women to be passive, to accept their lowly position in the society. Rather than trying to change the situation, the social situation which is not in their favor. How can women achieve salvation? Perfect, by serving men. स्वर्ग के द्वार पति के चरणों के थ्रू आप पहुंच पाएंगे बेटिया, ठीक है? So it teaches women that the way for salvation for them is to serve men as dutiful wives. Not beautiful again, dutiful. ठीक है? आपका सबसे बड़ा धर्म क्या है? पतिव्रता होना. Yes or no? We have already discussed the position of women in family and marriage. We've discussed, क्या नाम था तुम्हारा? Anne Oakley's critique of the mother housewife role in great detail. We've discussed Jesse Bernard's, talking about how every marriage contains two marriages, a man's marriage and a woman's marriage, and the two are quite different. Let me also discuss the topic of abortion. Bear with me and quickly. Abortion. Now, this issue of abortion is topical in the sense it was in the news in 2022. I'll just give you a context. What happened in the US in 1970s? Okay, there was a judgment in the Roe versus Wade case. In the 1970s, the United States Supreme Court, in the Roe versus Wade judgment, Basically, it granted women in America the right to abortion. Okay? Right to abortion was granted to American women by 1973, I think it was, Roe versus Wade judgment of the US Supreme Court. Theek? Then in 2022, this judgment was overturned. I said in 1970s, in the Roe versus Wade judgment or case, the US Supreme Court granted the right to abortion, okay, as a constitutional right. And this Roe versus Wade judgment was considered a landmark for women's rights. Okay? Because women now secured the right to abort unwanted pregnancies. But in 2022, the US Supreme Court has overturned this judgment. In a fresh case, they have reversed the judgment. So in US, there are two broad camps on the issue of abortion. It's a hot debate. It has been for a long time. You have what are called the pro-life and pro-choice. Pro-life and pro-choice. Pro-choice कौन है? Those who insist that women must have the right to abort. They are in favor of the right to abortion. Pro-choice वाले. Pro-choicers are in favor of the right to abortion. The pro-life camp oppose abortion or the right to abortion. ठीक है? The argument of pro-choice walas is that women should have full control and autonomy over their own bodies. Women must have full control and autonomy over their bodies. It is the woman's right and hers alone to choose whether she wants to have a baby or not. ठीक है? According to pro-choicers, every woman's situation or position is unique. So others are not in a situation. Now, for example, if it is a teen pregnancy, are you with me? Or if the baby is, being born with some congenital disorder. Or if simply the woman changes her mind and does not want to become a mother, she should have the right to decide. So, the state, the society do not have any right to constrain women's autonomy, bodily autonomy. It will prevent unnecessary births or unwanted births. Not unnecessary, but it will prevent unwanted births. It will ensure that overpopulation is checked. And the society's resources can be better used to serve the needs of the existing children. ठीक है? Ma body, ma choice. Pro-lifers, on the other hand, argue that the unborn baby or the fetus, the zygote, is a life form in its own right. So it has a right to life. The unborn baby in the form of a fetus or a zygote is life, right? And no one has the right to take away this right from the unborn baby, including the woman, the mother. There are religious and ethical concerns regarding abortion expressed by pro-lifers. So the Christian Bible, one of its fundamental dictums is that you shall not kill. Yes. Are you with me? So, abortion amounts to killing a life. So it is against the Christian beliefs as well. If the mother, does not want to raise the child may be better put for adoption rather than being killed. So instead of giving the mothers or women the right to abort children, society should provide them support to raise children. ठीक? Every child or every fetus has a unique potential. It will become a different individual and contribute meaningfully to the society in its own manner. Who are you? Pro-life या pro-choice? Pro-choice. Most feminists would fall in which camp? Pro-choice, undoubtedly. ठीक है? In US you have two political parties, the Republicans and the Democrats. Broadly, Republicans are pro-life. Democrats are pro-choice. ठीक है? Republicans are more conservative, more religious in a certain way, or more Christian in that sense. Like Donald Trump was a Republican and he is America ka Modi. ठीक है? Look at it this way. ठीक है? And Joshua Angrist, now for some analysis, Joshua Angrist, don't get angrist at me, suggests that the right to abortion has led to increase in women's education. Right to abortion has led to increase in women's education. It has led to an increase in the labor force participation rate for women. Increase in labor force participation rate for women and an increase in women's earnings. Increase in women's earnings. It has given women greater confidence to plan their future. Given women greater confidence to plan their future. So the right to abortion is a key right for women to enjoy reproductive autonomy. For women to enjoy reproductive autonomy. Angrist also suggests, friends, that this judgment was unnecessary because abortion rates are anyways very low in the US right now. Presently, abortions have already become very rare in the US. Why? Because of increased use of contraceptives. As contraceptive uptake has increased, unplanned pregnancies have reduced. So, abortions were anyways low. Okay? So it was unnecessary to take away the right to abortion. Jennifer Barber, Jennifer as in Jennifer, Barber as in Nai. Jennifer Barber found that, नहीं लिखा, कहीं नहीं लिखा. Jennifer Barber found that 2/3 of young women who were positive about having a baby. Jennifer Barber in her study found that 2/3 of young women who were positive about having a baby before their pregnancy felt negatively about it after they became pregnant. So they were enthusiastic to get pregnant, but once they got pregnant, they were not too happy. Why? One of the main reasons was because their partners had reacted negatively to the news of pregnancy. Okay, so that was one of the reasons. So what Barber suggests, that women should have the right to change their minds. Just because you've conceived once doesn't mean you must carry it through to completion, right? As the situation evolves, women should have a right to change their minds. If the right to abortion is taken away, it will lead to reproductive coercion. In other words, women will be forced to become mothers. They'll be compelled to do so. It will lead to reproductive coercion. And certain social categories are more vulnerable to that. More vulnerable are younger women, less educated women, and Asian women. Asia से ठीक. So the right to abortion is important for reproductive justice. The right to abortion is important for reproductive justice. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. आई एम नॉट डन, बट क्या करें, ठीक है. थैंक यू. सॉरी.